Recording. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the June 23rd meeting of the OCEO. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 8:04 p.m. I'm going to begin with the territorial acknowledgement, in that we respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish people, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. Now I'm going to proceed to the roll call of attendance. So just as normal, name, pronoun, access needs. So I'll start off with myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben. Pronouns are he, him, and all of my access needs are met. Next, Helen is here today. So Helen, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. My name is Helen. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Our vice chair is not here today, so up next, communications.
Hi, my name is Alan. Pronouns are he, him. All my access needs are met.
English, assent, and regrets. Next is film.
Hi, my name is Rio. All my access needs are being met, but I'm not sure why I have another me in the call. Ignore him.
Right. Next is history.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew. My pronouns are he, him. I'm calling from the stolen and unceded lands of the Kwantlen, Wasonic, Stolo, Katzie, Semiamun, Coast Salish people. My access needs, I'm a little bit tired right now. I've had a long few days stretch here. I've been kind of going for the last few days. I haven't had a good moment to relax. So if I'm looking a little bit tired, there's a reason.
Women's Center.
Hi everyone, my name's Nim, pronouns she, they. My access needs are met, but I probably will be keeping my camera off for most of the meeting because it has been a very long day.
And Aaron, seeing as you've just dropped in as well, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. Apologies for delayed arrival. Yeah, for the recording, it's Aaron. Pronouns he, him. Cognitive science and accessibility. I am having not the best connection right now, so I may need people to repeat themselves occasionally. But yeah, thanks, Ben.
All right. And for society staff, we have our admin assistant on the call. So Simmer, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Simmer and I go by he and him. And in terms of access needs, I'll just keep my camera off.
All right. So we'll now proceed to the consent agenda. Motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. There are two items in the consent agenda for today: ratifying Gabe's regrets because he's traveling over the weekend, and receiving and filing the meeting minutes from June 9th. So I'm going to seek unanimous consent on the consent agenda. If you'd like to object to any item in particular, raise your hand and we can deal with that if that comes up. Seeing no objections to the consent agenda is carried unanimously, and we'll now move into the adoption of the agenda. So first of all, the motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Can I get a mover?
History.
History moves. Second.
Communications.
I'll give it to communications. So if there are any amendments anybody wants to make to the agenda, now would be the time. I'm going to list myself and first move that we amend the agenda to include an in-camera discussion item titled Executive Work Reports. Can I get a second?
Cogs.
Cognitive science seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll go to a vote, so I'll seek unanimous consent. If you'd like to object, please use the Zoom raise hand feature and I'll record your vote. Seeing no objections, the amendment's carried unanimously. We'll now return to the main motion. Are there any amendments anyone would like to make at this time? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote to adopt the agenda. So I'll seek unanimous consent to adopt the agenda as amended. If you'd like to object or abstain, please make that known via the Zoom raise hand feature. Seeing no objections, the agenda is carried unanimously, and we will now proceed on to item 11 of our agenda, or section 11 of our agenda, excuse me. Item 11.1, which is the review of June 1st to 15th work reports. So just as normal, if anyone has anything particular they'd like to say about these reports that isn't going to be covered in an in-camera session, now would be the time. Matt, go ahead.
Just as a general note for future, because just for the sake of ease of reading the future reports, it'd be really great if instead of just jumping straight into abbreviations, if execs could first use the full form of the abbreviated term that they're using, just to make it easier for counselors on the OCO and future people that decide to look at their reports, just to make it a little bit easier to review. It's a very small thing, but I think it could be really helpful for future, instead of like having to stop reading my report and then be like, what is this term that I'm looking at? Just a small thing that I think could be fun, a fun addition.
Helen, you have a direct response to that?
Yeah, direct response, aka clarifying question. So Matthew, when you say like the acronyms, do you mean like the like for example, if it's a meeting or a committee name and it's been like broken down, you just want the whole name put out there?
Yeah, like like for committees or for any other instance where there could be an abbreviation used, just try to use the full term first, and then you can refer to it after the fact, just to make it easier for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Nim, you have a direct response to either Matt or Helen? I don't know.
Yeah, just because Matt and I had talked about this earlier, even something like BOG, like we obviously know what that means, but like if there's students who aren't on council or aren't really involved in the SFSS, they might not even know what that means. So just, yeah, anything, yeah.
Right, I'm next on the list. So really the only thing that I saw that kind of just, it's a very minor correction, is this third level heading of blood that shows up in the VP externals report. That should just be removed. Other than that, look pretty good to me. And Alan, you're next on the list.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to talk about. I was wondering if that was just on my screen and something went wrong, but yeah, there was that. And also, I think compared to last week's or last work reports, Sean's is much better when it comes to spelling. But just in the last sections for administrative and committee chair, I think there wasn't spell checking for those sections. But I mean, it's much better than the last work report. So,
Matt,
just as another small note, can we be at least notified of when extensions take place, or is that something that we should say for in camera?
We should, I'm going to say, let's save the specifics of that for in camera.
Okay, that's understandable. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion on the item, I think we can pretty safely proceed along to what is now item 12 on our agenda, which is be it resolved to go in camera for the remainder of the meeting. Only in camera topic is executive work reports. Can I get a mover to go in camera?
History.
Thoughts?
This history moves. Second.
Women's Center.
Cogs?
I saw Cogs' screen light up first, so I'll give it to them. Is there any discussion on this? None. All right. Seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to object, please use the Zoom raise hand feature. Seeing no objections, the motion to go in camera is carried unanimously. And I will set up a breakout room for us. Just going to resume the recording now. Welcome back, everyone. So we're now on to the motion to go ex camera. So the motion reads, be it resolved to go ex camera Can I get a mover?
Cogs.
History?
Center.
I'm gonna give it to history. Is there a second?
Oh,
All right, film seconds. So I'll seek unanimous consent on this. If you'd like to object or abstain, please use the Zoom raise hand feature and I'll record your vote. Seeing no objections, the motion is carried. We will now proceed on to the last item of our agenda, which is section 18, motion 18.1. That reads, be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 8:26 p.m. Can I get a mover?
History?
History moves. Is there a second?
Women's
Cogs.
Center.
I'll give it to Women's Center. So I'll seek unanimous consent. If you'd like to object or abstain, please use the Zoom raise hand feature and I'll record your vote. Seeing no objections, the motion to adjourn is carried. We are adjourned at 8:26. Thank you all for coming.